want you stepping in. They need to respect me, even if I don't have powers.
I finished my first playthrough of Dispatch and felt conflicted. Not because I got a bad ending, but because I played the entire game the way I try to live my life, logically. I tried to be a good dispatcher, a good manager. I tried to do the right thing, and I still failed because Invisigal killed Shroud. And I couldn't stop thinking about one question. Why would she betray me if I did everything a good leader should do? What's messed up is that I can trace every decision that led to that moment, and I still can't explain where my judgment failed. I would spend all day thinking about what I did wrong. I couldn't focus, I couldn't sleep, and I even developed anxiety thinking about where I went wrong days after completing the game, because I couldn't understand it. But before I start, I do want to emphasize that this is about the ethics of romance and the truth behind logical versus emotional decision making. I'm going to rip the band-aid off. On paper, Blonde Blazer is the correct choice, and I don't mean that as she's my favorite or best girl. I mean it in the most boring way possible, ethically and professionally. Because I played as Robert, but I kept it honest. If Robert didn't know something, I didn't pick options that assumed he did. I try to make the choices that made sense from his perspective and mine. And if we're using that frame, Blonde Blazer is the choice that makes the most sense. She's grounded, mature, and she's been a hero for a long time. She actually feels like someone who belongs in the same world as Robert. Not as a project, not as a problem to manage, but as an equal. Now, I do get why it feels weird. She recruits you, she dumps Phenomenon, and then you can choose to recruit him into your team. So if you go down her route, it can feel like you're having an affair right in front of him. But here's the thing, that discomfort is social. It's awkward. It's not unethical. Invisigal is a little different. Invisigal shows interest immediately. It's intense, it's direct, and she gets way more chemistry moments with Robert than Blonde Blazer does. There's even the whole moment where she has a dream about you, and let's be real, that's where most people fold immediately. And I'm not gonna lie, I would have as well. But the reason I didn't fold is because in Robert's position, you're her boss. And that's the line. Because no matter how friendly Robert is, no matter how much he treats the team like equals, they aren't equals. There's a power dynamic. Robert can literally cut her from the team. He controls her future. Even if he'd never abuse his power, it still exists. And that matters. And I'm not trying to say that romance or emotions are illogical. I'm just trying to say that compromised romance is morally wrong. And by compromised, I mean one person has authority over the other, their future, their job security, and their place on the team. But what makes this whole thing more complicated is that Invisigal is also the kind of character a lot of men, me included, crave. Not literally her, but what she represents. Someone who wants you as you are, right away, no ambiguity, no games.
What are you doing here?
I had a dream last night that we were fucking.
The problem is, the fantasy doesn't erase reality. She's still your subordinate, and this is where the single male crisis part comes in. Because Dispatch isn't just giving you romance options, it's giving you two fantasies. While on Blazer is stability, Invisigal is validation. One of them feels like a life you could actually build, the other feels like being chosen. And for a lot of single dudes, being chosen can feel intoxicating. Not because romance is irrational, but because loneliness makes attention feel like certainty, which is why Invisigal is the most popular choice. However, Blonde Blazer is the most ethically correct choice. Most people don't choose Blonde Blazer because of one detail. She starts the story in a relationship, but we don't know that in episode 1. She starts the game flirting with you, and that scene of her saying,
We can work with this.
is honestly enough to make a lot of guys fold immediately. But once you get into episode 2, it's revealed that she's dating Phenomenon, one of the greatest heroes of all time.
I thought I'd cataloged all of your work companions.
Robert, this is my boyfriend, Phenomenon.
And that changes the vibe instantly. Not because Phenomenon is a threat, but because for a lot of guys, pursuing someone who's already taken just feels wrong, especially when her boyfriend is genuinely a good guy. Invisigal is different. We get more time with her, we see her flaws, we see her loneliness. We see how she feels directly about Robert. But the biggest reason people choose her is that the game makes the attraction explicit. She has a wet dream about Robert. And if you're a single guy, if an attractive girl looked at you and admitted something like that, it sounds like a green flag to pursue them. You'd feel seen, you'd feel wanted, and for a second, it feels like certainty, like there's no guessing. Being wanted without uncertainty is something a lot of single men yearn for. So when you're being pursued by two attractive women, it's easy to fall for them at any time. I've heard people describe Dispatch as Twilight for men, and honestly, I get it. The dialogue between Robert, Invisigal, and Blonde Blazer is written extremely well. It's not just that they're attractive, it's that the conversations with them feel effortless. That's the fantasy. And there's one more part people don't like to admit. A lot of guys have some insecurity about previous partners. Sometimes it's about comparison, but honestly, I think it's about intimacy. It's the idea that something that feels uniquely yours right now was once shared with someone else.
I don't need to hear your sex stories.
We never had intercourse. My alien genitals were not compatible with hers.
That's what makes Dispatch feel uncomfortable in a way most choice-based games don't. It isn't just presenting romance, it's presenting temptation, and then measuring what it does to your decision-making. Because once power is involved, temptation stops being harmless. And Dispatch is really good at putting you in a position where the correct choice doesn't feel satisfying, and the wrong choice feels like it matters more. For example, the first real fork happens when the game asks you who you want to spend the night with. A dinner date with Blonde Blazer, or a movie with Invisigal. And this is where my playthrough started diverging, because from the player's perspective, Invisigal is obviously the more charged option. You've seen her moments alone, you've seen how intense she is. But Robert hasn't. From Robert's perspective, there isn't a real reason to choose Invisigal yet, and even if there was, she's still his subordinate. Blonde Blazer, on the other hand, already has something real with him. They've had flirtatious moments outside of work. There's a dynamic that exists beyond the job, and it needs to be addressed. So I didn't choose Blonde Blazer because I wanted her route. I chose her because it was the only option that made sense to me. And that's my first real problem with Dispatch. It's not that romance exists in this game, that's fine. I think it's really well written. A lot of dialogue choices feel like they're asking, do you want to be responsible? But what they're really asking is, do you want to be cold or do you want to be intimate? Invisigal isn't just a tempting option. Invisigal is a test because she's intense. Not just romantically, but emotionally.
You're right at home behind that desk because you're no hero.
She's unstable. She's a liability, and that's the contradiction. As a manager, that should make the decision easy.
You're not making it easy for me.
But as a person, that makes her impossible to ignore.
You don't get it. Some people are born to be heroes. I'm not one of them.
And this is where I had to be very clear about something. The moral issue with Invisigal isn't that she's a villain, or that she's flirtatious, or that she's forward. The moral issue is that Robert is her boss. It doesn't matter how respectful he is, it doesn't matter that he would never abuse his power, the power exists anyway. And that means any romance is compromised, even if both people want it. The game treats it like chemistry, real life treats it like a conflict of interest. Now, I'm going to talk about the choices I made in my first playthrough. After beating the game, I went back and retraced every decision I made, every moment that shifted relationships, loyalty, and tone. 90% of my choices were pretty consistent. I stayed responsible, I stayed professional. But the ending didn't come from the 90%. It came from the few moments where I panicked and contradicted my own morals. In episode 6, I defended Invisigal in front of the team by yelling at Chase.
Want to get people hurt, get people fucking killed, then you need to go back to the team where you belong.
Chase, that's enough.
This is crazy.
And I think it mattered more than I realized. Then episode 7 happened, and this is where I panicked. I told Invisigal I cared about her.
What you didn't know was what Chase was willing to put on the line for you. Because he cares about you. And he's not the only one, so please don't throw all of that away.
I forgave her immediately, and I leaned into the kiss. I thought by manipulating her emotionally, she'd stay. I crossed that line, and right after that, everything collapsed, and she killed Shroud at the end. So here's what I'm going to do next. I have an experiment I need to test. I'm going to pick what I believe is the most logical, moral, and ethically correct option every single time, and I'm going to see if that kind of person is even allowed to win a dispatch. Because if Invisigal still betrays me after this, then either logic isn't enough to lead people, or this game is designed to punish you for trying. For the first few episodes, most of it is the same as my first run. I'm professional, I'm consistent, I'm just trying to do my job. But then Dispatch throws the first real test at you, the wet dream scene. And I don't bring that up for shock value. I bring it up because it's bait. It's the game turning Invisigal from a volatile teammate into a fantasy. It's a shortcut that tries to make you emotionally invested in her before you've actually earned trust. And right after that, the game hits you with the first major fork. Spend the night with Blonde Blazer or go to the movies with Invisigal. From the player's perspective, going to the movies sounds way better. It's the one that feels exciting. It's also the one that feels like you're choosing her. But from Robert's perspective and from an ethical perspective, it's a trap because she's still your subordinate and she literally just confessed a sexual fantasy about you. That's not a normal coworker dynamic. That's a conflict of interest waiting to happen. So in the experiment run, I don't take the bait. I chose Blonde Blazer because it's the only option that doesn't compromise my position. From there, episode 5 is pretty simple. If you want redemption, you need honesty. I tell the team the truth about Mega Man, because the entire Phoenix program collapses if the leader isn't trustworthy. Episode 6 is where I think my first run actually died. It's not the big choices, it's the tone choices. When everyone's drunk and Invisigal wants to raid the area where the Astral Pulse is immediately, the answer is obvious. You plan first. As a leader, you are responsible for a team, and you don't send people into a high-risk situation intoxicated. And then there's the moment Chase starts berating Invisigal. This time, instead of picking a side, I did what a leader is supposed to do. I de-escalated and told them both to calm down. Because this was something I didn't think about the first time. If you publicly side with Invisigal, you are not protecting her. You are isolating her. You've reinforced this me versus them mentality inside her. And that mindset is exactly how betrayal gets justified. Moving on to episode 7. This is where decisions matter the most. The team wants Invisigal cut, and logically, cutting her would be the easy option. She's a liability, she's impulsive, and Chase might die because he saved her. But morally, it's wrong. Because the Phoenix program doesn't exist for easy cases. It exists for people like her. So I defend her. And then the game gives you the moment that broke me in my first playthrough. Invisigal confesses she placed a bomb on the Mega Man suit. She's the reason Robert's life has collapsed, and he has to retire. And the first time I played this game, I panicked. I said what I thought would keep him from leaving. I tried to manage her emotionally, fast forgiveness, intimacy, validation. I tried to manipulate her emotionally to make her stay. But in the experiment run, I didn't do that. I didn't say I forgive you, I didn't say I care about you, I didn't turn it into romance. I chose the only response that was both honest and clean. I don't know how to feel. And what shocked me is, the game respected it. The kiss didn't happen. The romance didn't escalate. Boundaries were held. I was pretty shocked when I didn't see Invisigal try to force a kiss on Robert. And then, episode 8 happens. And I'm convinced I failed anyway. Shroud holds my dog hostage for the Astral Pulse. I give him the fake. It's the moral answer. Save the hostage without arming the villain. But he ends up getting the real one anyway. And for a second, I thought, okay, this is it. The game punishes ethical play. And then... Invisigal takes the bullet from me. That single moment changed the entire meaning of Dispatch for me, because it proved something I wasn't sure the game would allow. You can lead morally without compromising yourself, and still save her. And right after that, you get the final choice. Kill Shroud or spare him. And if I'm going to do this experiment honestly, there's only one answer. Killing him isn't justice. It's revenge. So I spared him. And that's the conclusion. Dispatch tempts you with the idea of intimacy, not because romance is wrong, but because it's the easiest way to lose sight of your judgment. And I know my takes can be pretty hot here, but during my experiment run, I was really testing if my ideology failed. And I even paused the game for 10 to 30 minutes every interaction to think about what the correct answer was each time. And if you disagree with me, comment down below. I will argue with you with every fiber of my being. I am standing at the top of this hill. You can't CC me or Zaza me. Thank you for watching.